Strike is my favorite way to onboard new people into Bitcoin, and the app has changed a lot since I last reviewed it back in 2022. And you can find all the specifics for everything that we talk about in this video down in the description and the companion blog post. Since we last reviewed the app has released in the UK, in Europe, and the functionality of the app is available in many other countries around the world, and I'll have links to all those countries down in the description. With that being said, here are my favorite ways to use Strike in 2024. A few months ago, Strike launched a No Fee DCA that virtually eliminates fees for people who want to create recurring orders. There are some initial fees that you'll pay to set up the recurring order, but after enough time passes, your fees for that order go down to zero. The best part about this feature is that it's super easy to set up. The only thing we need to do to create recurring buy orders is come into the Bitcoin tab on our Strike apps and click on the buy button. It's worth noting that if you click on the sell button, there is no option to create recurring sells. So if you do want a dollar cost average out of a Bitcoin position, that's not an available feature within Strike. So let's go back to the buy button, and then we'll click on this little 2 arrow thingy up in the top right hand corner, and that will get us to an order type screen. And so here we can either choose to make a single purchase, which is the default, or we can make recurring purchases, or we can make target orders that we'll cover later on in the video. So let's go ahead and click on recurring purchase, and then we can choose to set our schedule. We can set it hourly, daily, weekly, or monthly. And then we'll see here that we'll pay no fees for this recurring purchase after the first week. So I typically like to do a weekly or a monthly buy because I think that it's sketchy to like pull from your bank account every day and especially every hour. And I don't want my bank account to get like frozen or something because Strike was pulling from it every hour. It just seems like too much. Like, why are we doing that? If like that level of detail matters that much to you, I would suggest that Strike might not be the app for you and that you should instead look at something like the Coinbase Advanced Trade API or the Gemini API. But for everyone else, we can go ahead and set our weekly DCA target, and we'll go ahead and create our weekly DCA to DCA $20 of Bitcoin. We'll see here that we can only have one active recurring purchase at a time, and so every time that we're creating a new recurring purchase, we're going to end up paying that initial fee over again. But you guys are worth paying the fee, so go down below and smash the like button for me paying more fees. And then I'll go ahead and replace my weekly $20 DCA with another weekly $20 DCA. I'm recording this video on Sunday, August 11th, so it's showing me that my next purchase will be Sunday, August 18th. It's showing me the current Bitcoin price, the amount, and then the fee that Strike is taking. And it's showing me that there will be no fees on this recurring purchase starting from August 18th. And before I go ahead and confirm this, I'm going to click on this little cash balance thing up here, and I'm going to get the option of where I want this money to come from. Do I want the money to come from the cash balance on Strike, or do I want the money to come directly in from my bank account on a weekly basis? And I'm going to choose for the money to come in from my bank account because I don't want to have to worry about my Strike cash balance being depleted and then the order not fulfilling. Let's go ahead and click on confirm, and that's literally all we had to do. Now I have a weekly $20 DCA coming straight from my bank account and automatically getting converted into Bitcoin on Strike. And so because of how easy that process is, it's much easier than getting set up on the Coinbase Advanced Trade API or some other recurring order system on a traditional exchange. You don't have to deal with any charts. You don't have to deal with any craziness. You just log into the app, connect your bank account, and create your DCA. And that's the reason it's my favorite app to get new people into Bitcoin. So here we can click on OK, and if we want to manage our order, we can go down to the bottom here and we can see our open orders. So if we wanted to modify or cancel our weekly purchase, we could just click on this and then click on this little remove weekly purchase button. So that's Strike No Fee DCA. It's no fees after the first week, and if you set this for a really long period of time, you're going to be saving a lot of money in the long run on fees. Next, let's talk about another new feature called target orders. A long-time requested feature on Strike has been the ability to create limit orders in the same way that we do on Coinbase or Gemini or Kraken. The difference between a market order and a market order fills right away, and it's similar to what we just did in that recurring buys demo. I was going to buy $20 in that case no matter what the price was. But in a limit order, I'm only going to make a purchase if the price falls to hit my limit order, and I'm only going to sell if the price raises to hit my sell order. And those target prices that you specify are called limit prices in traditional exchanges, but in Strike, they're called target prices. Here's how they work, and they work for both buys and sells. So let's go ahead and make one of each. First, to make a limit buy, I'll click on the exact same buy button. I'll click on those little 2 arrow thingies in the top right to bring up my order types, and now I'll click on target order. So here it's showing me the current Bitcoin price is $58,000, and I might say, hey, if the target price drops to $56,000, then I'm willing to buy some Bitcoin. And so here, as I update that live price, Strike is telling me buy if the price drops 4.7% from whatever the current spot price is. And it's showing me right now that that spot price is around 58,000. And then here we can keep that order open for 24 hours, 7 days, a month, or open until canceled, which is the default and my favorite type for this order. I want this order to eventually fill, and so I'm willing to keep it open forever or until Strike clears their order books for maintenance or some other reason. So now that we've made those specifications, let's go ahead and click on done. And unlike those recurring market orders that we just made, with target orders, we have to use the money that is already deposited into Strike. So we're seeing that my maximum amount here is $30 because that's all the cash I have on my Strike account. Let's use half of that and make a $15 limit order. Here we're seeing that we're trying to spend $15 on a limit order. Our target price is $56,000. We're buying if the price drops to our target price. We're actually only getting filled for $14.85, and Strike is taking a 1% fee off the top of this transaction. So technically, to make this no fees, you could probably drop your target price by another 1%, but then you're risking, like, does my order fill even slower? Like, will the price actually drop another 1% from what I've specified here? You can think about it as the higher your target price and the closer it is to the current spot price, the more likely your order is to get filled eventually. Obviously, if you set a target price of $200, you're probably never going to get filled, right? Bitcoin is probably never going to drop to $200 ever again. But if it did drop that far, you'd be getting really, really good price execution. On the other hand, if you set your order really close to the current spot price, you'll definitely get filled, but your price won't be as good. So that's kind of the trade-off we're making here. Strike is taking that 1% fee. And so again, if you want those no fee orders, you're going to be better off making those recurring buys that we just covered here earlier in the video. And if you want like super serious fee execution limit prices, you're going to want to use a traditional exchange like Coinbase or Gemini. So let's go ahead and confirm this order, and then we'll just click on OK. And so now to monitor this order, we can scroll down back to our open orders right where we looked at this before and saw our weekly purchase, and we can just click on this buy $15, and we can remove that if we don't want to buy $15 anymore. Next, if we're going to make a sell, the process is very, very similar. Go up and click on our order type, click on a target order, and now we could say that, hey, if the price raises to 62,000, which is 5% higher than the current price, we can click OK, and maybe we're willing to sell $10 of Bitcoin if the price gets that high. And again, we're not actually selling $10, we're selling $9.90 because Strike is taking that 1% fee. So let's go ahead and confirm that, click OK, and if we scroll down here to the bottom, it's actually only going to show us 2 open orders at a time, but we can click on this little View All button down here, and that's going to show us all of our open target orders and our recurring current order. So now we can see our sell $10 for that 62,000 price that we just specified. Finally, the reason that I originally fell in love with using Strike is how easy it makes making Bitcoin payments. In my opinion, it's the most seamless user experience of any app that takes your legacy financial accounts like your bank account and integrates them into not only the Bitcoin network, but more importantly, the Lightning network. Whenever I need to make a Bitcoin payment or a Lightning payment, Strike is my go-to app to do that, especially if I'm trying to take those funds from my legacy checking account. I've even used it to take advantage of discounts on companies like CoinKite, who offer a 5% discount on their products if you use Bitcoin to pay for them, and lots of other online stores that support Bitcoin and Lightning payments. And if I don't want to spend any of my actual Bitcoin, I can take dollars from my Strike account and spend them as Bitcoin to get discounts from these different services. And I'll have a link to a video that I did previously up in the cards and down in the description that's basically a tutorial for how you can do this with Strike and take advantage of those discounts for yourself. So I highly recommend that if you struggle with getting onboarded into the Lightning Network and understanding how it works, that you just give Strike a try. In my opinion, there is no better user experience for interacting with the Lightning Network than the Strike app. So what's next? I have a little wish list here at the end of the video. If anyone from Strike is watching, these are some features that I'd like to see included in the app going forward. The limit orders and the recurring dollar cost averaging are really cool features, but it would be really great if we could combine them. I want to set limit orders repeatedly for 1%, 5%, or 10% less than what the current spot price of Bitcoin is. This is very similar to what we've done over on the Coinbase and Gemini APIs, and this advanced functionality would really make those other more complicated solutions, things that regular people don't really have to interact with anymore, because they'd be able to get that functionality out of a super easy to use app like Strike. I think being able to give some of these more powerful trading tools to just regular retail investors who want to invest using their iPhones on very basic apps that are not, they don't need to become geniuses about trading and understand daily candles or any of this crazy stuff. If we could do it within the very simple Strike UI, that would be super powerful for a lot of people. I'd also like to see all of these buy and sell functionalities and target prices and recurring orders exposed via the Strike API, which at the recording of this video seems to only still be for payments and taking Strike and making it a layer on top of whatever your current business is. But I'd like to see some of that like exchange kind of functionality exposed so that we can do things like we're doing over on the Coinbase API, just over in Strike. Overall, I highly recommend Strike, and you should definitely give it a try if you haven't heard of it before. I'll have links to download it down in the description. And if your friends are ever asking you, how can I get into Bitcoin? Strike is the perfect app for onboarding new people into Bitcoin because of how simple and easy to understand it is. If you guys have any questions, definitely leave them in the comments down below. I do still respond to all the comments. Or go ahead and join the Discord or DM me over on X, and I'll try to get you pointed in the right direction. That's it for today. I love you all. See you next week.